In late September of 1993, Duc Hyun, a Vietnamese immigrant, was fired from his job at a U-Haul rental dealership in Reno, Nevada after a complaint filed by a fellow employee, Peggy Crawford, age 31. This was to prove a fatal action for her. Later on that year, he and his brother-in-law, 21-year-old Alvaro Calabro, both financially strained and unemployed, planned the robbery and murder to take place at the U-Haul store. No masks were to be used as he was a former employee and would be recognized by the on-duty employees. 2 weeks prior to the robbery, Calambro and Hyun had broken into and robbed a gun store to get the firearms necessary to commit the murders. Calambro purchased oversized shoes to wear so that any footprints left would throw off the police. They would enter the store at closing time to guarantee the presence of the entire day's receipts, estimated by Hyun as being in the five-figure range, and the absence of any last-minute customers who might be witnesses to the crime. On January 3rd, 1994, as the U-Haul store was closing for the evening, he and Calambro slid in through the doors as the store was being locked up, with the unknowing Keith Christopher, who was on duty at the time, that he had permission from the store's manager to borrow one of the trucks. To the disappointment of Calambro and Hyun, most of the day's receipts had already been placed in a secured safe, and when their guns forced the clerks to empty all cash drawers, only $2,400 was obtained. Hyun had started out being in charge of the robbery, but at this point an impatient Calambro, who felt things were moving too slowly, took over. Grabbing some twine and masking tape at the counter while Hyun held a gun on the clerks, Calambro proceeded to bind the two clerks' wrists and ankles together behind their backs in a hog-tie position with the twine, and then gagged both of them. In later recorded confessions to police, Calambro stated that Hyun had left him in charge of the helpless clerks while he went to the parking lot for a cigarette. Calambro later admitted that he was amused by Peggy's begging and praying while he bound both her wrists and ankles together, and since the employees were going to be murdered anyways, she was going to be with God very, very soon. He also found joy and excitement in hearing Peggy scream as he bludgeoned Keith Christopher to death with a ball-peen hammer. The fear in her eyes really got him excited, as he knew that she was next. After smashing in Keith's skull with a ball-peen hammer 10 times in front of Crawford, Calambro then took a tire iron and whacked Peggy Crawford on the skull till she was dead. Calambro and Hyun then went on a 12-day crime spree through California, engaging in a series of burglaries and armed robberies that moved them through the state of California until finally on January 16, 1994, with a female security guard being held hostage after a failed robbery, Calambro and Hyun got into a standoff with the SWAT team, eventually being cornered in a building, forcing them to surrender. On June 19, 1996, both Duc Hyun and Alvaro Calabro were convicted and sentenced to be executed. Hyun, however, did not get his chance to face his execution. He was found hung in a cell in Ely State Prison on December 19, 1996. Alvaro Calabro was executed on April 5, 1999, via lethal injection. His last words were, quote, "I regret it." And here we are at the North Kern Cemetery here in Delano, California. I'm going to show you the grave of Alvaro Calabro, a truly sadistic and evil killer. When he was going through trial, a jailhouse psychiatrist had told the courts that Alvaro was not very bright, to say the least, and he had an antisocial personality disorder. Here he is. Alvaro Calabro, May 10th, 1973 to April 5th, 1999. Yeah, his last meal was steak, rice, corn, apple pie with a Sprite. Our beloved, huh? Anyways, payable on death, as I like to say. And rest in peace to the victims, Peggy Crawford and Keith Christopher. They didn't deserve to be bludgeoned to death for simply having a job, and the psychopathic feelings of this scumbag and the other one too. Okay guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch up with you later. Peace out.